May it please the court, counsel, this is Ramesh Kumar, counsel appearing for the petitioner, along with the co-counsels Soundarya Priyadashini and Vignesh. So, in the case Mrs. Y versus Mr. D, this particular case has been has three issues in this particular case. The first issue is whether it is a valid contract or not. The second issue is that consideration needs to be refunded because the object of the contract was not met. And the third issue is whether this case falls under the section 372 and 373 of IPC. So today I would be covering the jurisdiction and the third issue part. So moving to the jurisdiction, this particular case falls under the section 9 of the CPC. So under CPC, the courts to try all civil suits unless barred. So this particular case, which is a civil contract between Mrs. Y and Mr. D, is a civil contract. So this particular court has the jurisdiction to try this case. Moving on to the next issue number 3, which deals with whether this case falls under the section 372 and 373 of IPC. So section 372 and 373 of IPC clearly states that there should be a trade of human. So in this particular case, the contract between Mrs. Y and Mr. D is nothing related to a trade. It is just a facilitation of a marriage contract. So the Mr. D is just a facilitator. He is not into any trade or human trafficking in this particular case. So moving further, so the community on which Mrs. Y belongs to has a custom in which they arrange marriage using a facilitator. So here, Mr. D is a facilitator who arranged marriage, who identified the bride for Mrs. Y's son. So in this particular case, Miss Y, Miss X is the one who is the bride who was identified by Mr. D for the son of Mrs. Y. So there is no breach, there is no human trafficking has happened. So there is no point of bringing in IPC here. And another thing, so when it comes to a contract, so here a clear agreement between the parties, Mrs. Y and Mr. D has been can be seen by initially through their agreement by giving the advance to Mr. D. So after getting the advance, Mr. D has further went into and identified Miss X as the bride for this particular marriage. So the marriage has happened. And after that, so moving on to the facts, so Miss X has moved out of the Mrs. Y's home after staying in for 20 days. So after 20 days, she moved out of it. That's where Mrs. Y's contact with Mr. D has failed because it has not fulfilled the contract obligation. So here there is no question of any criminal activity has happened. So this particular case will not fall under section 372 and 373. Thank you, my lord.
Thank you, counsel. And I invite counsel from defendant side. Yeah, come.
Okay, so if the Honorable Lordship is pleased with the facts of the case listed by the petitioner, I would like to start with the case. The first issue would be taken up by Sri Kamali, the second one would be taken up by Uma Mageshwaran, the third one by myself. So as the petitioner Ramesh told about the issue, I would like to add further facts to the issue that it was not a contract per se. This was actually a contract of not marriage but of a custom. So we would be dealing further about it, and let the petitioner continue with the issues.
Soundarya,
Lordship,
let petitioner side counsel continue their submissions.
Lordship, I am the counsel for the plaintiff. I'm Soundarya Priyashni. I am handling the issue number 1. The issue is whether the contract is valid or not. The counsel humbly submits the following legal interpretations based on the facts and circumstances of the case. The section 3 states that communication, acceptance, and revocation of the proposal. Basically, for a valid contract, there should be an essential element such as offer, acceptance, mutuality of obligations, and competency and capacity. Here, communication was clearly made by the plaintiff that the girl was bought for her son, who lost all hopes of marriage, and he was not married, and it is not for any illegal relationship. And the primary need for the agreement to be enforceable is the knowledge and assent of the particular offer, and the acceptance is essence to the contract, and they have to fulfill their obligation. Here, the defendant side has to fulfill their obligation, but the girl has ran away by staying only 20 days. The proposal was made by the plaintiff and it was accepted by the defendant. There was an obligation to be fulfilled by both of them, and both of them have the capacity and competence to enter into one contract. Section 3 states that 2 or more persons are said to be in contract when they agree upon the same thing in the same sense. Maxims or consensus ad idem assentium initio. Section 14 states that free consent should be made without coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation, and mistake. By detailed analysis of the case, the contract was made by the plaintiff and the defendant is valid because it has fulfilled the essential elements of the contracts, and also the plaintiff had made the contract with good faith that she only made a marriage proposal for his son to the defendant. The defendant has misrepresented the original facts and made the contract unlawful, and the contract made was breached by the defendant, so the defendant has to refund the consideration. That's it, Lordship.
Can proceed your submissions.
I'm appearing on behalf of the defendant side. The counsel submits that under the Indian Contract Act 1872, Section 10 says that what agreements are contract. All agreements are contract if it is made by free consent of the parties for a lawful consideration with a lawful object. Where concluded that following necessary things of an agreement is valid contract. They are free consent, lawful consideration, and lawful object. And in this, the counsel humbly submits that the point when the object of the agreement is prohibited by the law, it is considered to be an unlawful contract. So they are no longer being valid, and it is considered to be an invalid contract, and it is an void. And under Article 23, Subclass 1 of the Constitution clearly explains that trafficking in human beings are prohibited by law and punishable according to law. Hence, the sale of a woman from one party to another is also considered to be a void, and it is no valid be a contract. In each of the cases, considering or object of an agreement is said to be an unlawful, and every agreement of the agreement which is object and consideration is unlawful, and it is also be considered to be a void contract. And the counsel humbly submits that Article 23, Subclass 1 of the Constitution prohibited the human trafficking, and 146th Law Commission report on sale of a woman and children saying that the sale of a woman is punishable offense, so that the object of the contract which deals with the sale of the woman is prohibited by the law. As of the earlier submission said, the contract is not a valid contract at all as per the Section 10 and 23 of the Indian Contract Act 1872. Thank you, my lord.
Let petitioner side counsel can with the issue number 2.
My lord. Hello. My lord, I'm appearing for the petitioner for the issue number 2. So the issue number 2, what as a petitioner we come to this court is that consideration need to be refunded because the object of the contract was not met. So the consideration amount has to be refunded. So that is our condition is that. So in my written submission, I have pointed out that page number 30 and point 30. So I have stated that Legu, the case which is dealt by Nagpur High Court. So section 65 says that when contract has not been met, the consideration amount has to be refunded. So that is the said by the Nagpur High Court. Three Katare versus state. So in that case, there is a statement called plaintiff is entitled to get the refunds that the actual obligation as to the contract was made. So section 55 of Indian Contract Act says that obligation of person who has received an advantage over void agreement. So if an agreement seems to be void, so it actually fails to do so which the agreement has been made. So the consideration amount has to be refunded. So the consideration amount, what the condition is that the girl which came into the contract so has cheated us and she went back after 20 days. So it is in this connection. So this girl and the defendant who jointly cheated us and after paying the money and entering into contract, so they left. So in this view, so we are entitled to get that consideration amount which paid for this contract. So there section 65 taking into obligation of person who has received an advantage over void. So on begging this honorable court to get the consideration amount has my client has been treated to may pass order for this.
I think clerkship has some technical issue. The respondent side can proceed further.
Uma Mageshwaran.
My lord, I am appearing from respondent side. I clearly four things will be clarified. First thing is a fact in the guilty case, the plaintiff is a woman had made a agreement with the tenant or destroyed valid promise with they are joined impromises invalid defendant to the provide the dangy girl some mysteries of for the plaintiff's son. And second point is, but the girl went back to village after staying only for 20 days with the plaintiff's sons. After few days of plaintiff discovered the girl was a dancing girl. Third point, the purchaser sued the seller for refund of the consideration because the sale failed in the purpose. The analysis of section 2G under the Contract Act 1872, an agreement not enforceable by law is not to be said to be void. It is the state which makes its agreement void. It takes about the agreement which cannot become a contract agreement with the lack of enforceability of law. And section 23 under the Contract Act 1872, there are some points. What's the consideration and the object of the lawful and what not the consideration or the object of an agreement lawful unless it is if forbidden by the law. It's of such nature, they permitted it could be defended the provisions of the any law or in the fraudulent act involves or the implicates injury to the persons or property of another, or the court regards it is the immoral or oppositors of public policy, and it in each of the cases of the considerations or object of an agreement said to be unlawful, every agreement of which the object or considerations is unlawful. And section 65 Indian Contract Act 1872 say obligations of the persons who received advantage under the void agreement or contract that become void when an agreement is discovered to be void, or when a contract becomes a void, any persons who has been received any advantage under the such contract agreement or contract is bound to restore it, or to be make a compensation for it is it to be the person from whom received it, and suggest some case laws in the cases of Huju Collieries with the Jharkhand Mines Limited. The plaintiffs have entered into the contract from the lenses of the coal mines from the defendant in consideration. However, the deed was a hit with the illegality under the act passed before the contract was made, since the lens of the property was never conveyed to the plaintiff was already in the business. Is a meaning of the code is a consultative solitary, hence the no reason for the plaintiffs to the ignorance of the law, and those is the contract was void into it. Second case, Rose Banham versus US Credit System Co. 65 NJL25548. The court said it's most of the cases of which it has been held is a promising part of the considerations of the contract illegal. Whole consideration is void. It will be a found that not to the promising illegal or immoral. And my prayer is, my Lord, therefore, in the light of the issue raised, arguments advanced, and authorities said, we pray that honorable court that may be pleased to declare that the suit be dismissed without any cost and due to any other the honorable court deems fit. Therefore, in the light of the facts, the present issue raised, argument advanced, and authority said, the counsel on behalf of the petitioner humbly submitted before the honorable court kindly pass the order declaring and executing it. Thank you, my lord.
Okay. As per petition received under Order 18, there is a witness today to chief examination and cross-examination by both the side advocates. Petitioner side counsel, can you start your chief examination?
If the court permits, the counsel wish to examine the witness.
Okay, counsel, you can start.
Thank you, my lord. So, I just want to bring in a witness, Mrs. Y, who is the main party to the contract. So, I just going to start the examination on the witness side. The first one. So, Mrs. Y, how do you know Miss X?
My lord, as a marriage broker, I know him for arranging for my son's marriage, my lord.
So, what is the relationship you have with Mr. A?
Mr. A, I have asked him for a girl to marry for my son, my lord. So there is no other previous relationship. We just came to know that it is for the purpose.
What is the consideration amount which you have paid for Mr. B?
So we have paid around 10,000 rupees, my lord.
How long Miss X was staying in your home?
Sorry, my lord?
How long Miss X was staying in your home?
20 days. 20 days.
Have you sent her out of your home or she voluntarily left your home?
She voluntarily left, my lord. She was with us for 20 days and we came to know that she is not the she is not the girl which we asked for a contract. So he cheated us and she left off after 20 days.
What is the requirement you gave to Mr. D regarding the bride?
We asked for a donkey girl. Sir.
Is she a donkey girl?
No, sir. She is the dancing girl from some other.
Thank you, my lord.
Okay. If defendant side want to cross the witness,
The council would like to cross the witness. If the honorable lordship permits, the council shall start.
okay, counsel, you can start cross.
The council from the defendant side is putting forth the question towards Mr. X, Mrs. X, and when the amount was paid for the so and so contract, was the girl in accordance with your description as a donkey girl?
No, I haven't. I have asked only for a donkey girl. So she is not able. We came to know that after 20 days.
When did this come to know to the knowledge of that she was not a donkey girl?
Only after some 18 days since the girl she came into our life.
How did that come to the knowledge of the witness?
So she was telling that I need to go for a dance. So I have some work to do. So I'm not the girl which you asked for my sweet marriage. So we came to know that only when she said to us that was the matter.
If the girl was known not to be a donkey girl, and at the 18th day, why did she leave at the 20th day?
So she's asking for us. So we don't want to send her. So she left her after 1 day, and we went off. So after 3 days, she went off.
Did the son know that she was a donkey girl at the first day?
No. We don't know. Only when she said to us, so we came to know it only when she said.
Was this a mistress or a wife of Mr. D?
She's mistress of my son.
Okay, the council would like to conclude the cross at this point in time, my lordship.
Yeah, okay.
Lordship, counsel from the petitioner side wants to go for a rebuttal.
Then okay. Rebuttal.
So, if the court permits, we are ready with the rebuttal. Thank you, my lord. So, as the counsels from the defendant side has cited a lot of facts, and even the witness has clearly said the contract was existing, and this contract is nothing related to Section 24 of Contract Act, which talks about the marriage contract. It is just a contract to facilitate marriage. It's not a contract of marriage. So anything which is a facilitation, and it is a custom driven. So when it is custom driven, as per Section 1 of Contract Act, it was clearly said that when there is a custom prevails in the society before the Contract Act came into existence, that will not be affected by the Contract Act. So this particular custom was existing well before the Contract Act came into picture. Therefore, this contract is valid, and the consideration amount which was paid by the petitioner has to be refunded back because the contract was paid. Thank you, my lord.
My lord, if I, my lord, I request you to submit our humble prayer, my lord, before the honorable court.
My lord, the defense would like to rebuttal at this point in time, if the lordship permits.
Then okay. First to proceed with the rebuttal, then petitioner counsel can submit his prayer.
Okay, my lord. Okay.
Start your rebuttal.
Thank you, my lordship. So, my lordship, the petitioner has humbly submitted that this is according to Contract Act, and this was a quasi marriage of sorts. But my lordship, I would like to state the fact that no matter what the consideration was paid, the contract is purely against the lawful object and the section under the section 23 of the Indian Contract Act, and further the customs. My lordship, petitioner Rameshana could like mute the mic. So yeah, thank you, my lordship. So the defense side would like to like point out the fact that, my lordship, though the contract would be valid as per the petitioner submits, the issue here is that, my lordship, it's not about the contract per se, it is about the constitutionality of the contract, and this actually is in derogatory of Article 15, which envisions that women are to be treated in the same par as men, and when anybody is treated as chattel and being sold off as the object of a contract, it should be like void as under the Article 23 as well as Article 21, which envisions that life to like meaningful living. And though the consideration was paid and any losses incurred by the petitioner would be taken into consideration, the cases of Nikhil Ram Singh case is very clear on the fact that when both the parties are at default, the law doesn't interfere, because the law only cares for those with clean hands. And based on these, my lordship, I would like to point that the case should be dismissed, and any costs incurred by both the parties should be borne by the said parties, and no further like losses should be made for this case, my lordship. That's it, my lordship.
Then okay. Petitioner counsel can submit your prayer.
As a petitioner counsel, I have to humbly submit this my prayer before this honorable court. So, in this light of the facts presented as from issue 1 and issue 2 and issue 3, so it is came to know that the contract is made only for the marriage, so hence it is valid, and the consideration amount which is paid by us, so it is willfully cheated by the defendant, so hence the consideration amount has also been refunded. So, therefore, the light of the facts presented, issues raised, arguments undone, and authorities cited, counsels on behalf of the petitioners humbly submit that before this honorable court to kindly pass an order declaring that the contract is valid and consideration amount has to be refunded. So it doesn't invoke that 372 and 373 has been violated. So honorable court may deem fit in the light of justice, equity, and good conscience and deliver the render justice, my lord. So I finally conclude my prayer before this honorable court, my lord. Thank you.
Then okay. Defendant side counsel can submit your prayer. Then we will go to other proceedings.
Yes, my lordship. So I'd like to humbly submit the prayer in front of you. Wherefore, in light of the issues raised, arguments advanced, and authorities cited, we pray that the honorable court, that it may please to declare that the suit be dismissed without any cost, and to do any other that the honorable court deems fit, and dismiss the suit, my lordship. Thank you.
Then okay. Keep wait all defendants and petitioner counsel for the analysis of court, and after judgment, please wait all of them.
Okay, my lord.
And this case of the Chennai Judicature. This case came before me on 28/11/2020. Case number dash 2020 between Mrs. Y versus Mr. D. This case came before me on 28/11/2020. The contract between petitioner Mrs. Y and the Mr. D. It is a contract regarding the sale of a girl between sale from the respondent side to the plaintiff side. so that the facts and circumstances submitted by both side counsel and the defendant side counsel, this court come to this judgment. There are three issues was raised about the facts and circumstances, and based on the chief examination and cross examinations, this court came to the conclusion about issue number 1, whether it is valid contract or not, and as per under section 23 of the Contract Act, the motive should not be forbidden by law. That means the object should not forbidden by law. Otherwise, this contract will valid if the itself is a forbidden as per Article 23 subclause 1. As petitioner side counsel submitted that this is a customary practice. Even though it is a customary practice, that means the Constitution of India will prevail over all the things, and this is the part 3 of Constitution. So that this court come to the conclusion that this contract itself invalid, held that this contract is void. And then when came to the issue number 2 is the consideration needed to refunded because of the contract was not met. That means as per the issue 1, it is legal issue 1 and issue 2 are put together. As per section 60 of Indian Contract Act 1872, in case of void contract, the any consideration given by respondent means who suffers the loss should get a refund opposite party. So that this court come to the conclusion to 1, this contract is void, so that after 65, the defendant side, that means respondent consideration amount to the plaintiff in as far as section issue number 3 of this case, whether this case falls under section 72 or 373 of IPC. As far as this case, this court have no jurisdiction to conclude this issue, so that he said this is not maintainable. That particular issue is not maintainable in this case, in this court. Held the order is point number 1. The contract is void. Then respondent side shall refund the amount to plaintiff. Then as per the cross-examination, the chief examination, there is an implied contract between the that girl X and the Y and Z, namely plaintiff. They know at the starting stage she was a dancing girl, even though she was a dance. She was stayed in plaintiff house for 20 days. Left the house, even if the water left or the motive of plaintiff or plaintiff's son, she came out the of the petitioner only after 20 days. So that as per section 73 of Contract Act, the petitioner shall give some compensation amount. She stayed in plaintiff house for 20 days. So that this court conclude this issue.
My job.
Thank you, my lord.
Thank you, my lordship. With this, I will.
Thank you, my lord.
With this, I will stop the
Much
video
obliged
recording.
to my lordship.
Thank you, my lord.